I don't know if on either side of the dais I've ever heard in one round of question more premise of questions that I possibly disagree with. I refuse to waste $1 of tax dollars, period.
You heard the man, EPA Chief Lee Zeldin, taking on climate-crazed Democrats without breaking a sweat and reminding them of what his responsibility actually is.
Greenhouse gas reduction fund. You have made some wild, untrue, and reckless statements to justify your illegal freezing of these funds. Simple question, have you had a chance to read it?
Is that the one that was written by a former Biden administration official?
Is it woke to protect people from wildfires and heat stroke?
I don't know if you're going to get anyone in America to answer yes to the way you put that question out there.
Since you are violating both the law and the Constitution, will you follow your oath? And if you can't follow your oath, will you resign from your office?
We couldn't possibly disagree more strongly with what you're saying. What I do believe is would be illegal is for me to play along where I'm seeing unqualified recipients getting funding.
Joining us now, former EPA Chief of Staff during President Trump's first term, Mandy Gunasekara. Mandy, it's delicious to watch these green grifters just search for something to try and nail Lee Zeldin on, and he just serves it back to him stone cold.
He really does. He does so beautifully. And what they're realizing is his job isn't to implement or even respond to their politically charged agenda. His job is to protect public health and the environment, considerate of the letter of the law, and that's exactly what he is doing. It's a wonderful thing for him to see the responses to politically charged questions, to put that in its place, and to focus on core issues that the American people expect from the Environmental Protection Agency. Things like clean air, clean water, addressing legacy pollution, things that they've done. They've taken over 100 actions in the first 100 days, and they're off to such a great start.
Yeah, they also tend to forget that Lee Zeldin served in the House of Representatives for a number of years. He's sat through probably hundreds of these types of things, and they try to pull these little antics, but you're just not going to do that to Lee Zeldin. He's too seasoned, and he's getting rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse. I mean, it's so pervasive. That's what he's been focusing on. That's why he's getting the pat on the back from America, maybe not from Democratic senators. That's what he's supposed to do, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's interesting, the Democrats are attacking him for just exposing rampant waste, fraud, and abuse of taxpayer resources, where there were things like $20 billion going to these political nonprofits that had nothing to do with improving the lives of vulnerable citizens or areas that actually needed additional environmental support. And so it's a great way to put it up. The American people are behind the work of Administrator Lee Zeldin, and he was able to push back against these gotcha questions. He's been around this block a time or two, and frankly, the Democrats, they weren't prepared. They haven't been prepared for this new Trump administration where you have very experienced, substantive people like Lee Zeldin leading the charge and getting to work in ways that actually improve Americans' lives instead of just perpetuate their false politically charged narratives.
Like getting rid of that stupid stop-start button on the cars with the engine cuts when you're idling at a stoplight or a stop sign. I mean, that just gives me the vapors. I get so excited. But moving on. So Vermont, Mandy, has halted the EV requirements. The governor has said that the current goals are not realistic. This is delicious because it goes against what California has done by leading in this, trying to ban gasoline-powered vehicles in just about 10 years. Vermont falling by the wayside.
Yeah, it is certainly a breath of fresh air to see Vermont standing up against a very unrealistic standard. And you know, Dagan, we knew this back in 2018. At EPA, when I was there, they did something called the midterm evaluation, where they assessed the realities or the lack thereof of some of these EV mandates back from the Obama days that the Biden administration also picked up. But what Vermont is realizing is that the EV mandate isn't realistic. It's on legally vulnerable footing. It's either going to fall in the House via a CRA vote, or it's going to fall in the courts because of a lack of justified legal standing.
Well, and look, people need to be able to make choices in this country. You should be able to make those choices. And technology is continually improved, but these mandates, good for Vermont for actually stepping up saying, yeah, they're not actually going to work. And I think the rest of the country and those Democratic states will figure that out at some point.
Yep. They're swamp Yankees. They don't like being told what to do, just like rednecks don't either. Mandy, you're neither. Mandy Gunasekara, great to see you.